Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Pisces in mid-July 2021. What's going on, Pisces? How are you guys doing? I'm back to singing to you guys. I haven't done that in a while, I think. Anyway, Pisces, wherever you are in the world right now, I hope you're safe, happy, healthy, and secure. Please take good care of yourselves and others that you know and love, okay? If you're out and about, enjoying the weather, enjoying your life, please do so by minding all precautions that are necessary in your localities. Let's all put in our effort, our best effort, so that we can all get back to normal. Not just some of us, huh? Anyway, guys, hope you're well where you are. Okay. No other announcements here in July for you Pisces, so let's get into it. Anything you want, it is already in the description box down below. Timestamp is down there. Information on how to book a personal reading with me is down there. Any questions before you place an order, just email me at the same address that's down there, and I will answer as soon as I can. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, even though I'm terrible at social media, that would be greatly appreciated. It helps your girl circulate around around all the internet places and apps and all that stuff. And you know, I said I would go back to using it, and I do mean that. It's just I've been in a terrible funk, to be honest with you guys. So I just haven't had the motivation to really give my real concerted effort, my real focused effort towards Instagram. But again, if you want to follow me just to show your support, I would appreciate it. And any support here on YouTube is also appreciated. Liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, all that fun stuff, okay? All right, Pisces, let's get into it for you guys, all right? Ooh. Not really starting, but let's see what that was. Princess of Wands. So Page of Wands might have a fire sign of significance in your life, or you're in a fiery mood yourself, but it's just, you know, a blossoming type of energy. It feels like really, quote unquote, innocent, but also impassioned, also intent. So I feel like for that, like some of you are like taking a stand for something, leaning towards volunteering or spending your time, putting your money where your mouth is, sort of, you know what I mean? So like giving real credence to something or something like that is coming across here. But let's see what your actual reading is all about. If that doesn't apply to you at all, don't worry about it, okay? All right, so for Pisces I keep wanting to say April. The past couple of readings I've been wanting to say mid-April. So I'll mention it with you Pisces. Maybe there's some significance in mid-April from this year or previous years or next year that's important to you. So keep that in mind. If that resonates with you, super cool. If not, don't worry about it. So messages for Pisces mid-July. Messages for Pisces in mid-July. Show me. This month I'm using decks I don't use often. They're hard to shuffle, but I wanted to get a new mix of energy. You've got 3 cards coming out all together, so I guess that's important. And I'm taking them apart just like that. So we've got the Devil, aka the Cernunnos, or Cernios. I don't know how you say that in this deck. This is the Druid Craft Tarot deck, but that's the Devil, 6 of Swords, and then the Prince of Pentacles, aka the Knight of Pentacles. Okay. So I like that. This is Escape. I guess that's the word they want me to use, escape. This is going away, getting away, running away, making progress, making tracks. You know, this guy here, this energy, this, again, Devil, Cernunnos, I guess is how you would say it, but again, I could be wrong. Not a fan. I'm not, you're not, nobody is. And it's a darkness in your energy, a darkness in your life. If not a darkness, a heaviness, a weightedness. There's something like a magnetic pull. The coloring from what I see in my eyes, with my eyes, versus what's on the camera, like this looks a little yellowish on the camera, on the screen that I'm looking at, but in real life it's super green, and it's giving me this feeling of toxicity, right? So like radiation, like Chernobyl or some shit like that. I'm not saying that's like, well, what was Chernobyl then? A massive catastrophic event that had years, decades of fallout afterwards. People were suffering from disease and illness because of Chernobyl. People lost their livelihoods because of that. People lost their lives. People lost their wellness because of that. And it's long term. It's habitual. It's chronic. It's still ongoing, right? So, and Chernobyl was what, in the 80s? Late 70s, early 80s, something like that? Okay, so contextually, Pisces, What does that mean? You are seeing yourself out of a situation that is chronic, long-lasting, and toxic. It has a weight to it, has a pull to it, has a severity to it that has harmed you. And I mean, again, look at the imagery of the card. This looming figure with antlers is really looking like he wants to do some bad things, or doesn't want to wake these two people up off the ground for tea and crumpets, right? It's not like, let's have a tea party, guys. It's like, no, I'm going to make you my minions and you're going to do my bidding. Again, this is the devil energy. So there's some influence in your life, whether you're aware of it or not, because again, these two figures are asleep on the ground, so they're very unaware of his presence. It's there to influence you, to do harm, or to exercise its power over you. I could be talking about an entity, a spirit, an energy, a person, circumstances, multiple people. I could be talking about a lot of things. And I'm sorry if you're like hearing a distortion in my voice. My eye is suddenly upset with me and it kind of hurts. Anyway, Capricorn also 10th house father dynamic, so this could relate back to your father or some type of masculine authority figure in your life. Doesn't have to be a man, but like masculine energy, and having issues with those archetypes, issues with people that represent that archetype. Six of Swords, Knight of Pentacles, progression, moving away from, seeking solace from. This Prince of Pentacles here, Knight of Pentacles has this sword. So your defense is movement, and it serves you. Now, your mind has been made up, but what you've actually been able to produce maybe is not matching that. Your mind is made up, swords, mental energy, mental capacity, what we think, what we believe, what we communicate. So even your mouth. I did say that with the page of wands that flipped out in your pre-shuffle. Put your money where your mouth is. So a lot of you have talked a bit about this move, whatever it is, either it be a physical move, more of a move, a change in your attitude, a change in your perspective, a change in your friendship circle, whatever. You've talked about this, but the actual getting it off the ground and making it real hasn't really transpired. No, that's not to shade you. That's not to make you feel bad or anything like that. It's just literally what you're facing isn't, number one, for some of you, you're not aware of it. You don't necessarily believe it's as impactful as it is. And that's kind of the way of a toxic situation, whether we're really talking about Chernobyl or we're talking metaphysically toxic, right? When something is toxic, even if we're warned about it, we never think it's going to be that bad, right? Most of the time, people don't think it's going to be as bad as it was. And there's a lot of effort, devil energy, there's a lot of effort in maintaining that, well, is it really that bad? I think I can deal with it. Like, if this is a relationship of any type in your life, friendship, love relationship, family relationship, whatever, and there's someone who wants to have influence over you or wants things to go a certain way because it benefits them, the less you question it, the more it works out in their favor, then they're going to help you not question things. They're going to make it seem like what they say, what they do is normal, what you think or what you say is crazy, etc., right? And that can be on a personal level between two people, that can exist in a small group of people, that can exist between a nation and its populace, right? It works on all levels, Pisces. So for some of you, like I said before, with the Princess of Wands, again, that flipped out in your pre-shuffle, for some of you, this is like you diving into, making moves to become a philanthropist or a volunteer or somebody who goes after something that affects the entire community. Because even in the Six of Swords, we do see a group of people, not just one. So we do see that there's some impact to more than just you in some of your cases. So again, some of you are putting yourselves out there for the benefit of others, taking a stand against something that you think is wrong and something that you think is toxic or harmful that affects people who cannot defend themselves. Again, the two sleeping people on the ground there. So it could be some of you are taking up causes for children, right? To thwart, to banish or punish or put away certain predators, right? Which is great. It's all noble. But again, that could be something that you've talked about, but you never really did it. But now I think a lot of you Pisces are finally going to put the wheels in motion here, but slowly. Okay, gotta be honest, slowly. Prince of Pentacles over here. That's Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Could be dealing with Earth signs, but you don't have to be. And that's for some. Others of you, this is a very personal situation. You're very intimate in the details of what is wrong here, what is foreboding here. Look at the water. I mean, granted, it's not the sunniest of skies. It's more of a, what do you call that? Like a sunset or even a dawn, right? So the sun is not at its brightest point in the sky, but look at the water. It's super murky. It's super dark. So there's some intimacy that you have with how murky and uncomfortable this situation is, or the details of it. You know how nasty whatever this is, whatever situation this is, you know how nasty it is, how unsettling it is. You may have been witness to something. Some of you could be fleeing, not a crime scene, but like a witness protection sort of thing. I mean, maybe not literally that, but it's almost like if you stick around and you say something, you become... And I put that back. That's interesting. I normally wouldn't do that. I normally would acknowledge this, but I put it back immediately. So, yeah, maybe that's something like that could be sort of thematic or metaphor for what's going on here. There was a card here, it slipped to the side, and I'm shuffling, so like that's my invitation for messages to come. I'm preparing myself for messages to come. The message comes, slides to the table, but I put it back. So for some of you, you could have been ignoring the toxicity yourself. You could have known something and you didn't speak on it earlier, and now you kind of feel compelled to speak. But it's a slow-moving process, again, with this Knight of Pentacles on the end there, Prince of Pentacles on the end. Let's see what came to the table. Four of Wands. Okay. So for some of you, this is like family secrets. This is knowledge that you have either learned recently or have known for a long time. And Pisces, what an interesting reading. Like, I don't want to say you feel guilty. I don't want to say that's the motivator. I don't want to say like that's your only reason is to clear your conscience. I don't think that's it. But there is this recognition of what was going on, or what has been going on this entire time behind the scenes, at home, behind closed doors. And it doesn't have to be terrible. It doesn't have to be, you know, some horrible, horrible truth or some horrible, horrible detail. It can literally be at home, you and a partner, you and your friends, you and your cohorts, your other family members, whoever. You ignore the elephants in the room. And the elephant, again, doesn't have to be something gross and incredibly harrowing or traumatic. It literally could be... excuse me, it could be something about how the home is kept. Because again, Four of Wands, we're talking about something in the home. Something where, wherever you call home, wherever you feel comfortable, person, place, or thing, there's something icky there. There's something not being spoken about, not being acknowledged, not being recognized. So that could be, maybe we're not talking about how somebody has a certain addiction. Devil energy, temptations, addictions, obsessions, compulsions, right? And to spare someone's feelings, you know, and an addiction always is not always drugs or alcohol. Somebody could have an addiction to spending. Somebody, for God's sakes, could be a hoarder, right? So like 2 or 3 rooms in your house are like piled high to the ceiling with just stuff that someone says, I'm a collector. Okay, let's go ahead and just get the pleasantries out of the way. Stop speaking in euphemisms, Barbara. You're not a collector, you're a goddamn hoarder. That could be the nasty truth, the nasty toxic thing, the looming monster that nobody wants to acknowledge or that people have been ignoring, right? So there we go. And remember, this fell to the table, I ignored it, I put it here, and then I stopped myself. And I was like, wait a minute. Why would I ignore this? Let's see what it is. And that's what we ended up talking about just now, right? So that energy, that again is a symbol or a metaphor for what you are doing. All of a sudden, at some point, there's a record scratch for you, Pisces, that goes, hold on, let's address it. Let's talk about it. Let's face this thing. Not necessarily the bravest way. Some of you might be going about it in what other people might deem the cowardly way. Like, again, there's multiple people on the boat there, so maybe you're like gathering other family members to go talk and have an intervention with Barbara. You know, and Barbara's going to have something to say about it. How dare you come into my house and accuse me of these things? And it's kind of like, well, if I did it by myself, I wouldn't have been successful. You would have drowned me out. You know, there's all kinds of reasons. So, all right, I don't need to clarify anything. I feel you understand the story. If it resonates with you, it does. If it doesn't, that's okay too. So let's just see what happens next. Let's see what else is going on here or what happens. Do I want to see what happens next? Yes. What happens next? Let's go with that. What happens next here for Pisces? Give me at least 2 cards here for what happens next for Pisces. What happens next for Pisces in this storyline, please? And I get exactly 2, which is rare to get exactly what I asked for. All right, Hermit, 2 of Wands. Hermit, more earth energy. A lot of earth today for you guys, or substantial earth energy, I should say. Hermit energy, so that's Virgo, 2 of Wands. I mean, I think it applies to multiple people, but this is your reading, so I want to apply it specifically to you. After some soul searching, we have choices to make, is what this is. So, Pisces, after you do a deep dive into what the hell is going on here, who's involved, why are they involved, what does this mean, what does that mean, what are the triggers here, what is the root trauma here, you know, asking all those poignant deep dive questions, which are often not what we want to do. It can be quite scary to do it or uncomfortable to do that. But after that work is done, or in tandem, either after or in tandem, you get this 2 of Wands, yes? So progression is made. First of all, progression has been desired. 6 of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles. This has been what you have been wanting, but there's still some creepy crawly, sure. There's some darkness or shadowy stuff that needs to be unearthed, needs to be excised, needs to be exposed, needs to be incorporated. What the hell does that mean, incorporated? Accepted? These are not the right words. I don't like those words, but that's what they're giving me. Incorporated, accepted. Acknowledged, thank you, is a better word. Thank you. All right. So, not to say you need to accept the devil. No. Or incorporate the devil. I don't like those words, but again, they're still here. They want me to use them. I think acknowledgement is better because the Hermit is a diagnosing endeavor or the energy of diagnosing, the energy of bringing awareness to or about, right? And I guess in some ways you can accept or incorporate when you do that, when you try to again, like bring awareness to something, enlightenment to something, right? So the Hermit presents a lantern, right? That's what he carries in his hand. And I like this also. I also like this depiction in this deck because there's this wolf here, and wolves are great detectors, right? And, you know, canines, right? So great senses, great ability to hear, to see, to smell. So, and maybe that's it. Ah, interesting. What did I just say? Hear, see, and smell. Those are some of the senses that we share, obviously, with other animals or other species on this earth. So maybe there's something here about you relying on different senses or sensibilities, if not senses, sensibilities, okay? But yeah, the act of diagnosing gives you more choice. Being aware of what you're dealing with gives you choice. 2 of Wands. In this deck, there's a figure in the field. It's like an outline. It's not really there. It's like a sketch or a chalk outline or something like that. So for you, Pisces, I think this is to affect your reality. I think you still have to do some introspective work. In order to change what exists in your 3D world, you have to consider what's going on in your internal world. And that might rely on facing some demons, facing some darkness, wrestling with darkness. And it also probably impacts other people because of how many people are in the boat. So Pisces, for you, I think you're in the driver's seat, but also the route you have to take is not straightforward. It's not go from point A to point B to point C. I think it's go from point A, go to halfway to point B, go back to point A, go from point A to point C, realize point C is not exactly where you need to be right now. You miss something, so you go to point B, then you go back to C, and then you think you're done, but actually there's a point D, E, F, and G to get to. You understand what I'm seeing? Do you understand what I'm seeing? I wish you could. No, I don't want anybody in my head. It's an awful place. Don't go in there. Anyway, but I feel like there's multiple points here that need to be ticked off or visited or considered, and I think you would prefer a more linear trajectory. Most people do. I just want to go about it the most straightforward way as possible, but often as we grow, as we become more enlightened and wiser in our lives, we realize it's less linear than we ever conceived, and I think that's kind of maybe partly helpful for you to kind of work with that. It's not going to be linear, okay? All right, Pisces, let's get some advice for you, and then we're going to wrap this up, and then I'm going to get some dinner because I'm hungry. All right, Pisces, what is the advice for Pisces here in this situation? What is the advice for Pisces? Please show me. Okay, and I think it flipped into the reverse. It absolutely did. 7 of Swords, that's good in the reverse. We like that. Okay, so 7 of Swords in the reverse. So where there was lies, deception, self-deception, self-lies, things you tell yourself to feel better in the situation, excuses you might make, excuses that other people make. I don't want to put all of this on you, Pisces. This is your reading, that's why I directed at you, but clearly you have other people present here. So this applies to everybody. Everybody, stop lying. Everybody, stop deceiving yourself. Stop deceiving other people. Go ahead and own what needs to be owned. Yes? In the upright, this gentleman, he looks like he's dealing with a migraine, with a headache. Possibly what he's writing down on his scroll or on his paper is a bunch of BS, and he knows it and he feels guilty about it, but he's writing it anyway. So some of you, again, maybe you feel, that's not for everybody. I really tiptoed around that, and maybe I shouldn't. But remember, the 4 of Wands came and it like flipped out, and I didn't acknowledge it, and then I acknowledged it. You were here. You know what that was. And then we get this guy who looks kind of guilty, and he's writing something down, and maybe he knows that's not the truth, or maybe he's finally writing the truth, and maybe, he's having this, oh my God, why did I wait so long to say this? For some of you, I was dancing around it. Let's go. I don't know. I would not. Personally, I'm a weird ass person. I will talk about anything, and I don't have a lot of apprehension about any topic of conversation. But in this energy, I feel apprehensive. I feel very skittish about saying this, but it needs to be said, Pisces. In some of your stories, in some of your lives, there's something to be said about some type of abuse, some type of mishandling of relationships, some type of taking liberties. All right? Someone may have taken liberties with you. You may have known that someone else took liberties with another person and you didn't say anything about it. Something like that. Okay? There may have been violence, emotional, physical, mental abuse, all the things. I did mention before, I don't know where, I was about to put that back on the deck. This is your advice. It stays out. I don't know where some of you guys come from, but It's a tool. It's a literal tool. It's a mechanism to inject someone with, or to introduce into someone's life a toxic substance, a drug. It's a tool that many people use to open someone up, make them vulnerable, make them codependent, and then that allows you to abuse the person. Like, I'm talking, like, take a person, male or female, but often it's women who are the victims in these situations. Take someone, get them hooked on drugs, and at that point, you can rule their life. You can control that person. So maybe in some of your stories, we're talking about a pimp and a prostitute, a whore. And I'm not trying to judge anybody, but like, that can be a storyline. I mean, and this is, I'm not talking to anybody who just, graduated from kindergarten here. This is the real life of so many people. Some people, their mother and their father are like a pimp and a prostitute. Maybe that's your life. Maybe that's the life of your cousin. Maybe that's a family secret that you're now, maybe you're receiving all this information. Maybe you were kept in the dark. Maybe you were protected from this information, and maybe somebody else is agonizing over the truth that they held for so long. Maybe it's not even, to that dramatic, whatever. You get what I'm saying? The pressure or the feeling of guilt is very heavy here. And that's kind of, quote unquote, good. Because if someone doesn't have guilt about bad deeds that they've done, or bad deeds that they've known about that they pushed to the side or ignored for the sake of something else or the sake of themselves, if someone doesn't feel guilty, that you're dealing with a psychopath or a sociopath. So I like that aspect, is that the guilt that you or someone else feels means there is an awareness, hermit, there is an awareness of something that needs to be transcended, to be metamorphosized. Okay? All right, Pisces, we're going to leave it there. Wow, what a reading. Guys, if you like this reading, if it resonated with you, if it made sense to you, drop a comment, leave a like, share the video, subscribe to the channel, do all that fun stuff. If you want to get at me for a personal reading, maybe you want more about this particular storyline or something else, feel free to reach out to me by looking in the description box below. And I'll be back soon to do your August readings, Pisces. Until then, thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.